It's a hot day in the garden, and I feel like I just want to do some reflections. Let breeze. So I could say these are my seasons because everything must have a still that season. That's a season. So we've done one season already, and that was just to understand the garden, to start the garden, where it was mostly about putting the team together and making sure everybody is kinda on board with the vision and the mission of the garden, and to find time to do the garden, to see what resources we're going to need to start the garden, and we gathered all that, and off we were to a great start. Planted some beautiful beginner vegetables, your lettuce, your spinach. We had brinjal, cabbage, and onions, and broccoli, cauliflower, potatoes. We even went as far as tomatoes and pepper and chilies, as well as mealies. And that is just how big the garden is able to give us. It was just us really just trying to understand what are we dealing with when we're dealing with the garden, and also to spark the interest, because obviously, because it's a school, this is a garden to learn. We need learners to see and fall in love with the garden, to see and like the garden idea, and join. But mostly it was just to set it up. So season 1 came and went. We saw all those vegetables, we saw the challenges, we tested the soil, we saw a lot of some of the beds did not make it because of watering, pests, and all those things that the garden usually has. And we saw our weaknesses, we also saw our strengths. We even made connections in terms of sales, that Spa took some spinach and brinjal, and we tested the market, with the produce that we were able to get out. And there started the journey. There started the journey of the Green Step Garden. We were able to get a number of kids that were interested and who were showing enthusiasm, who were learning, and we were teaching. We got teachers who were coming on a regular basis, making sure that different lessons are given. But it was a start. And now that we on season 2, obviously it's a step forward. I think this season we're looking at really trying to zoom in on the areas where areas of concern. We need to produce quality. Essentially, we need to produce quality that will be able to be market ready. Quality that obviously that when you take home, you are proud to cook and obviously feed yourself. So vele isikole lesi inklasi siyafunda, and one of the things I realized ukuthi as much as you are learning the soil is also learning you. It's also teaching you. It's also unpacking you. kwamina nje who's a beginner, you know. I'm learning a lot about myself and my engagement with the soil at this scale, you know, of the garden. It's no longer a garden just at home, you know, at my mom's backyard. It's a bigger scale, you know, and the maintenance, the annoying bits and pieces of the garden, the scheduling, the calendar, the watering, the irrigation, everything matters. So I'm learning to appreciate the weather more, appreciate nature, because you know how it connects and it affects your plants. um, I'm learning um, how I hate what comes after the rain, how I hate with all my might. You know, around December, January, isuke igcwele unrecognizable, and we saw ukuthi ngoba kusuke kuvale iy'kole, so it becomes kind of hard to get everybody because it's holiday season. So, you know, ngiyafunda, and I'm really hoping that by the end of the year, where for us in the garden it's going to be August, so when it starts September, it's a new year. By the end of the year, these 2 seasons would have taught me a lot again in terms of maintenance. Now we really need to zoom in on the maintenance of each bed, you know, from just not just weeding only, but you know which chemicals we can use to help grow, what fertilizer we could do, what pruning, when do we prune. You know, I really want to get into specializing on each crop as to taking care of it so that it looks healthier. So I'm not too worried. This season we have a different focus from the last season, because obviously we are planting for winter. So we've got beetroot, and we've got spinach, cabbage, and green pepper, you know. I don't know what happened to my carrots. I think might have planted the seedlings too late. They were quite dry. So these 2 days, and there was no rain that much, so it kind of died off. But I'm going to have a different plan for carrot, so we'll see. But so that's what we have this season because of the winter. We're gonna see nakhona ukuthi how does the garden survive during winter. You know, what are those challenges, what are those weaknesses and strengths again, you know. So it's really just exciting. Yeah, it's really exciting. And in a week's time, we are having like an agriculture talk where we're bringing different stakeholders to kind of motivate and pull in the learners, the students, to be able to fall in love with the activities that happen in the garden, to fall in love with growing your own food, and to even see it as a career outside of school, you know, because there are a lot of farmers that are in need, and especially in areas like this where there's a lot of land but not a lot of farmers are farming that land. So, you know, agriculture is for me the future. So the more we learn about how to farm each piece of land, the better it is for everyone, you know. So look out for that, you know. It's happening on the 8th of August, 8th of April. We're having that agriculture talk. We'll be there, Mamlaba will be there, agriculture, and some of the youth um, youth farmers who are in agriculture space, they'll be there. So